Hi, everyone. Welcome to Friday Friends. It's Deb with RI Elder Info. Thank you very much for joining me today. I think this is episode 6. We've been doing really well. I'm hoping that you're sharing this with everybody. I have a very exciting speaker today. Tina Gwynette Patterson has been a fierce advocate for individuals in the disability community for a very long time, and she's got a really interesting story, because I think so often we think, oh no, that can't happen to us. Just listen to Tina's story. Without further ado, I'm going to bring Tina on here. Welcome, Tina.
Hi, welcome. Thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be here today.
Yes. So tell everybody what RAMP is and what caused you to create RAMP.
Well, RAMP stands for Real Access Motivates Progress. The reason why RAMP came all together is I'm a 4-time cancer survivor, and 6 years ago, I walked into an extremely minor surgery and woke up after taking a stroke to my spinal cord with no use or feeling in my legs. I had 2 choices. I could either roll in a ball and cry about it, or I could make a difference in the world for other people. So once I had to learn to navigate the world from my wheelchair, I learned how inaccessible this world really was. And nobody's maliciously inaccessible. They are because they don't know better, or they don't have somebody in this community where they have to, contend with. So we positively advocate for inclusion and accessibility for everybody in an affordable way. We give you real world ways to make your businesses or your places or whatever it is that you want to change to be more accessible, because we're basically fighting to give you our money. If you invite more people in, your bottom line is just going to get larger. So we're actually fighting to support the local businesses and beyond.
That's awesome. And so you're younger, and
yes,
it wasn't a big surgery that you were having, and then you
nope.
woke
I
up
have
paralyzed.
I have a bladder machine, and it went in June. And a month later, we realized we had to fix one of the wires to it. Very, very minor. It was literally, I was in sedation. I wasn't even like completely out for the surgery because it was that minor. And it just so happened that I took a stroke to the spinal cord. But the way I look at it, if I was out walking around that day, it could have burst in my head and I not be here at all. I lost the use of my legs, but my mouth still works, so it's all good.
And one of the things is, we kind of joke around about that, but you are very outspoken for disability rights, and you share that you are on the Disability Commission. I believe you're the chair or vice chair.
I'm the vice chair of the Governor's Commission on Disability, and I'm also the chair of the Awareness Committee in Rhode Island.
So tell us more about what those committees are.
The Governor's Commission for Disability is where everything filters through in the state for compliance for disability. Like if you wanted to get home modification, the home modification grant runs through the Governor's Commission. We have subcommittees in all areas like legislation, awareness, business, getting people back to work. So any area that has to deal with disability, it goes through the Governor's Commission. So we can vote on it, we can make it better, we can make changes to it. So those are the people that you want to be contacting to make sure that policy is all right.
Are those open to the public, those meetings?
All the meetings are open to the public. You can either come, or you can, right now during COVID, they are open on whether it's Zoom or FaceTime. You just have to let them know that you're wanting to come. Everything's listed on the Secretary of State's website. Okay. So you can go right there and you can find out about, and then all of the subcommittee meetings are also open to the public. So if you want to be more involved in legislation or more involved in awareness, you can join those separate subcommittees and be part of a voice in Rhode Island.
That's awesome. I think, for those of you who might have been watching from the very beginning, we interviewed Bill Flynn from the Senior Agenda Coalition. And one of the big pushes that we need at the legislative level is to continue hopefully expand funding for the home modification grant, because that is really making a huge difference in people's lives.
It is, and Rhode Island is leading the way on this. A lot of other states do not have this program, and it's actually at risk right now because of the whole COVID and the budget,
Mm-hmm.
and where they think you're going to cut first. You know what I'm saying? So we're trying very, very hard to save this because it helps so many people age in place or be able to stay out in their community, because we all saw what being in group homes and the nursing homes does in a time like this, that if a little bit of money that we can give to help people age in place or remodify their homes to stay at home, it's so much better for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you watching, if you have questions for Tina, feel free to post them. So what was the impetus for you to start your RAMP program? Tell people what RAMP is.
Yeah. Well, the whole premise is I was the first Miss Wheelchair Rhode Island in a bit of time, because the program had fallen off. So I had gone out to nationals and come back. So I had crowned my successor. But for me, just empowering women wasn't enough, because I know so many men who are my friends who are in wheelchairs or in the disability community, and children, that I had more to give than just for women. So I passed down the Miss Wheelchair Rhode Island program to to my successor, and started RAMP, Real Access Motivates Progress, because I wanted to include everybody. I wanted to advocate for everybody that needs accessibility. And we started RAMP just a year ago, last April, and we're already national. We're actually represented in 7 different states across the country that have a me in their state, all under my guidance. So within 1 year, we went global. So this just shows you how important a program like this is. It's one of a kind. Like I said, we go to schools. We talk to all school age levels. So if you're part of a school and you want us to come in, we go in with 3, 4, or 5 people with different disabilities. We read books to the children. We let them ask the questions that their parents usually shush them to ask when they're out in public. But if you don't educate them and they don't ask, they'll never know. So we're the way that they can find out how to help out, how to be part of it, how, what, and learn some manners to the disability community, and how they can not be afraid of us, because we're not scary. We just do things differently. I actually play a game with most of the kids. What do you think I can't do in a wheelchair? They haven't stumped me yet, and it doesn't always look like what they think it's going to look like, but I've been on the floor rolling around with them just to kind of break the ice. But we do bullying with middle and high schoolers. You know what I mean? How to go with life's flow, because life can change in an instant. So
Amen.
letting it devastate you, and the bullying is only 4 years of high school. You probably never talk to most of these people again. So you just kind of got to find ways to get past it and believe in yourself. We work with college age, OTs, upcoming nurses, because actually working on disabled people is a whole bunch different than working on your fellow friend who's fully functional and able. So you get a little bit more compassion and empathy when you're actually working on somebody who's disabled, and we can give you clues and ideas of what we actually need. How can you care for us without asking us?
That's great, because one of the things that you'd said, and I was thinking about this earlier before we got together, is have a seat at the table.
Right.
Individuals with differing abilities want to have a seat at the table, and I was thinking about the actual structure of having a seat at the table, that some individuals may not be able to have your traditional seat, and the other part of that is the table itself even high enough for a wheelchair to get underneath so that the individual can sit at the table?
Yeah, most of them not. And like I always joke, I'm like, I don't even need an extra chair. I bring my own. But that's why I created RAMP, because my theory is I am so done fighting to be at everybody else's table. I'm creating the table. I am creating the table. And if you want to be at my table, you are more than welcome, because we're going to set the policy for us. We're going to set the rules for us. And that's all disabilities, visible and invisible. So we're creating the table. Now you get to fight to be at our table, but there is no fight, because we are welcome and opening to everybody. It just works better that way.
Yes, it does. Absolutely. When we're all working together, I think, that's something that's very important. That's part of
None of
why,
none of us can do any of this alone. We are stronger together. I am on conference calls across the country, learning what other states are doing for disability, some good, some bad. Yes, I want to take that to Rhode Island, or no, I don't want to take. Like, one big peeve of mine, we're the ocean state, and somebody like me can't get to the ocean by herself. I have to go with a crew that's going to help me transfer into one of the few beach chairs that they have available, but there are no wheelchair mats. There is no way of me actually getting in the water unless I bring all of these big, strong people with me to help me. Well, I want to get away like everybody else. I want to take my service dog and go down to the beach and just relax and get away. And I don't have that ability to do that in the ocean state.
So here's one of the things that also would need, because that's a great point. And one of the things that we need to speak to the folks up at the State House in regards to the budget. A few weeks ago, I interviewed Cindy Elder from the Division of
Yes.
Environmental Management, and she was talking about how they do have the beach wheelchairs, but they're looking at getting, it's called a Moby mat,
Yep.
which would allow you in a wheelchair to be able to get down to the water.
Right.
But there was some concerns as whether or not they would be able to complete that purchase. It was in the plans before COVID.
Right.
And then COVID happened.
Right.
So it was one of those things that they were looking to get it for multiple beaches across the state so that individuals could.
Yeah, they're great mats, and it's a great idea. But the whole problem is, like, even the few wheelchair accessible chairs that they have, here's the problem with those. Those chairs don't fit into the bathrooms. So for me to go to the bathroom, someone's got to wheel me up to the bathhouse, go get my chair, transfer me into my chair so I can go into the bathroom, do what I have to do, then transfer me out of the chair, put my chair away, then take me back to the beach and these other chairs. Like, I'm tired just saying it. Imagine me having to do it. And then I can't do all of that by myself. So again, I can't be self-sufficient. Who wants to go to the beach and have to make sure that I got 3 or 4 people who are strong enough to do all of this with me? What if people don't have family and friends? I mean, I don't have a lot. My husband works a lot. My son works a lot. I don't have a lot of people who are readily available like that for me. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of me out there. We want to go and enjoy our state and look at Newport. You go down to all of those beautiful shops down at Newport. Do you know I can't get into any of them? Because they all have that inevitable one step. Oh. Which a quick little $300 to $400 portable ramp that Oakley's Home Access and I are working on, that they could let more people in. Now, they're not just letting wheel people in, walkers, knee scooters, baby strollers. Look at all of the clients that you would be able to let in. Do you know there are so many people among us that walk that can't do stairs because they were either born with a condition that they have no knees, but you would never know it? So Newport is excluding all of these communities that we can't get into their shops, and we can't spend our money in their shop. And we can take the beautiful, accessible C Streak down to Newport and then do nothing.
Wow. See, these are the things that you don't recognize unless you're in the community. And I think that's one of the things that really made it important to me to have you come on as one of the Friday Friends, is to get the thought process a little different, because you're right. What is accessible for an individual in a wheelchair is also accessible for the individual with a baby carriage, the individual who maybe is on crutches, the individual who, just had some kind of surgery.
They do those knee scooters now. You know what I mean? How much easier? And, even elderly with walkers, yes, they can do stairs, but wouldn't it be safer and less on your liability if they walked up a ramp than they tried to struggle up your stairs and fell?
That's true.
Or they'll get to the one step and people will say to me, "Oh, we'll just carry you in." Well, number one, my wheelchair alone is $350. And if you carry me in and there's a fire, are you going to stop to carry me out? One way in, one way out. You know what I'm saying? So why should I feel trapped? Instead of just having this cute little portable that you can just lean up against the side of your building when you're not using it, and it could be open to everybody.
Right. Or it could be, if it's portable, because there could be some housings, building codes, things like that, particularly in historic Newport, about changing, particularly like the cobblestone streets, which in and of themselves can be a challenge to walk on.
Right.
But if it's something that's portable, it's certainly something that the shopkeepers could purchase to put out in front of their store. And at the end of the night, put it back up, just like you would put out items on display outside anyway.
Right.
It's an
Absolutely.
option.
And you don't have to even have it up all day. You can put it out when somebody needs it, or they leave it on the side of your building and we can open it up ourselves. They're light enough for us to, access them ourselves. One big thing that people believe or say that's not even true. Grandfathered in is not a thing anymore. ADA has been around for 30 years. Nobody is grandfathered in anymore. There is no rule that you can't be. Even the historical factor, there are, yes, more rules because you're not going to cut into a beautiful marble staircase or, but you can be accessible. Now think about it. If one of the Kennedys was disabled, do you not think all of Newport would be fully accessible at this point?
Yeah, good point. Good point.
You know what I mean? And I mean, if you look at it that way, it's not that hard to become accessible and allow more people to live their lives. We are on this planet one short blink of an eye. Let us all enjoy every moment that we can of it. Don't exclude anybody.
That's absolutely true. So you also founded something else along with Ramp. Can you share what the Red Bag Initiative is and why it matters?
Yeah, well, the Red Bag Initiative is something that I started last year. It actually saved my life twice because I don't like telling everybody when you're out and about your story or your history. Or when I was like volunteering at the American Cancer Society, I didn't want to go over my whole list of story to everybody. So I came up with this invention that I'm a red bag carrier. All of my medical information is in this red bag. If you need to call EMS or the fire department or something because I pass out or there's a medical emergency, just make sure my red bag is with me. In this red bag carries a quick synopsis of my medical history, my medication, my bladder machine shut off is in there, and a history of everything that you need to know, an emergency contact, what I'm allergic to. Everything is in this bag, and it's non-tech based, which is what EMS loves the most, because most people will say, oh, it's in my phone, or I have this cute little USB bracelet. That's great. If there's a hurricane or a power outage or you're away, that's not going to work, or it may not be compatible with the system, or for whatever reason. This is your medical history for dummies in one little red pouch, and it's got a little clip on it, so you can clip it to your wheelchair, to your wallet. But the nice thing about these is it's not just for disabled people. Say you have a mental condition where you have a trigger or you have something that you can't be around. You write it in the bag. The only one who knows it is the EMS that take care of you. What if you're a drug addict with a drug, soaring right now, and you have a drug of choice? Write it in the bag. You can also write in the bag, do you want somebody to call if you OD? It takes that HIPAA question right out because you have it written down for the doctors and for EMS. So it takes all the question. If you have an allergy to something, for any reason, these bags work for everybody.
And if somebody wanted that, what would they do? Where do they contact you?
They can just go onto our Facebook page, www.rampisinclusion.com, and there's a little tab. We charge $3 for the bags, but we don't make any money on them. We go back and we replenish the bags that we have, and then for every bag we sell, we donate a bag to the homeless, to the veterans, to the group homes. I've actually sat on the street more times than I can count and helped a lot of the homeless people fill theirs out. So if something ever happened to them, they have contact information. They have stuff about them written down when you're cool-headed and you can think really well. So they're all over the state. We have over 10,000 bags out and about in the country today, and more going out every day. And this only launched last October.
Wow, that's amazing reach in a short period of time. So tell me, is Ramp a nonprofit? Are you making money on these bags?
Ramp is a nonprofit. We are a 501c3. We don't, like I said, we don't make any money on these bags because it all goes right back into the initiative. We are 100% volunteer-based organization, so nobody gets a paycheck. I work over 80 hours a week, if not more. I don't get a paycheck. We don't even charge for our services because we are all about breaking barriers. So nobody can say to me, we can't afford to look into being accessible. if you like what we do and we've helped your business, make a donation so we can keep going. If you want to help out in your own way or be a sponsor for a red bag, any business can put their business card in the bags that they buy, and they can be out and about in the public. So there's many different ways, but we don't charge specifically for anything. We just ask for donations, because we just had to donate 75 walkers, wheelchairs, and canes to the homeless that are out on the street during COVID right now. Because let's face it, there are homeless people who are disabled. I was 28 days away from being homeless before Habitat for Humanity had a miracle and came through for us. And now I'm building my own wheelchair accessible habitat house.
That's awesome. And I think a lot of times we don't think about our homeless individuals as needing walkers or wheelchairs or being older adults. And that's actually something I'm going to be inviting someone on Friday Friends to really discuss that even more.
Right.
Because it is happening, and it's happening, it seems, more frequently lately since COVID.
Yeah. And what people don't understand is, like, we just had this big power outage. I was out from Tuesday to Saturday myself. I'm in a motorized wheelchair. People are worried about losing their refrigerator, which is devastating enough. I'm worried about how I'm going to get off the couch and get to my bathroom if my chair dies. You know what I mean? We can't be out of power, but I also can't stay with a family member or a friend. Their house is inaccessible. I can't even get in. So that's why so many people end up homeless, because there's nowhere for them to go. You can't just bunk with a friend. You can't just move in with somebody else when you're using a big accessible device like this. There is I've been looking for 2 years with the support of so many people, and we could not find me proper housing for me and my wheelchair. How sad is that? 2 years I looked. Wow. We were 28 days from being homeless. COVID actually saved us, because when they shut it down and we couldn't be removed from our house now because they wanted to sell the house that I'm renting, Habitat came through, and now we're working on, so now that they can, why would you, when you know that in a few months we're going to be moving anyway? You know what I mean? So it literally saved us from being homeless.
Yep. And when you're talking about the power going out, do you need mechanical lifts, that kind of thing, to be able to get in and out of your chair, in and out of the bed, just in and out of life?
Yeah. My bed is mechanical. My chair is mechanical. You know what I mean? Things are going around. Like, it's basic everyday power. If my chair dies, I can't even get to the bathroom. I can't get to my refrigerator to get something to eat. I can't let my service dogs outside because I have no way of moving around. And then, you get the people say, well, why don't you have a generator? Well, when I'm home alone, how am I supposed to drag a generator out to plug it into the side of my home, especially in the middle of a storm or the weather? Simple solutions to one person is not an actual feasible solution to somebody like me. And they're like, well, why aren't you on high priority with National Grid? Well, number one, when you have thousands and thousands of people, they can only do so much. They're doing the best they can. They can only do so much. And two, the only way you can get on that high priority list is to have life support system to keep you alive. They don't consider my wheelchair as life-saving support. I do, because, God, if I can't go to the bathroom, that's kind of life-saving.
Kind of is.
Right, but it's not keeping me breathing or stuff like that. So these are like all little things that people just don't think about, because they're not interactive with it, and they're not part of that community.
And I think that, that's one of the things, you're right, that people just don't think about it. Why don't you have a generator? Well, there's some barriers to just getting a generator. Yes, you have to be able to call the electrician and have the house wired for that. But you also have to have the ability to go out and start the generator.
Right. And then if you're on disability, you have to be able to afford that generator, which is not most of us don't even get a living wage for our monthly subsidy. You know what I mean? So it makes it's a hard barrier all the way around. So that, then you get the people, well, why aren't you just like living in a group home? Because why should I have to give up my freedom? I'm 48 years old. My son still lives with me. I have my service dogs. I don't want to be living in a group home. Nothing that there's anything wrong with that, but I want to live my life and come and go as I feel and do what I want. And you know what I mean? Like, why should I have to sacrifice just because I'm disabled?
Right.
My legs don't work. My mouth, my hands, everything else still does. My mind is still in full faculty. Well, some people think I'm crazy, but okay. But for the most part, it's all good. You know what I mean? I want to live my life.
That's awesome. So you do have the Facebook page, you have a YouTube page, and I just want to pop this back up just as a shout out to Habitat Rhode Island West Bay. I know I have volunteered with Habitat West Bay. They're a great organization and they're doing
Absolutely.
great
And
work.
if you think that you can't help out, a sledgehammer is my new free therapy. Love it. I am washing walls. I am painting. I am knocking things over. I am putting cabinets together, all from my wheelchair. You can adapt, you can make it happen, and you can participate in doing this. So nobody has an excuse that they can't do it, because I have learned so much of how to do different household things just by being with them. So it's a great opportunity for free learning. You get to learn how to do electrical and maintenance and carpentry and plumbing and all of this wonderful stuff for free, and you're helping out a great cause. So come on down, let me know, message me if you want to help out, and I'll get you on the schedule.
Awesome. Awesome. Tina, this has been great. I'm so glad you took the time to come out and be one of our Friday friends. So if people are looking for information, then they can go to rampisinclusion.com. They can always follow you on Facebook and YouTube.
Yep.
And
we also have a weekly podcast on Wednesdays at 7. It just started 3 weeks ago. It's called Ramp is Inclusion, or Ramp Real Access Motivates Program, but it's live on Facebook every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. We talk about different topics. We talk about different things going on and about the community, and we have guests on every week.
Awesome. Awesome. Very good. Very good. Well, I'm really glad that you were able to join us today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Good. I'm glad. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, everyone. As you know, we do this every Friday at 9 o'clock. If you're looking for more information, you can always go on rielderinfo.com. Otherwise, I will bid you adieu, and you can see us next week on 9 o'clock, Friday Friends. Have a great day, everyone.